Hello and welcome to part 3 of my Tier 1 series in Ghost Recon Wildlands, where I post a video after every 10 tiers and talk about what I did during that time. In this video I go from tier 30 down to tier 20 using a strategy that I used to quickly obtain tier points that wasn't too boring, and I'll go over my strategy in a little bit. As always, if you end up enjoying this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want to continue following my journey all the way to tier 1 in Wildlands. Also, if you missed part 1 and 2 of this series, I'll link those videos down below in the description so that they are super easy to find. So at this point in my journey to tier 1, I was pretty much focused solely on grinding certain missions and tasks to build up tier points as quickly as possible. I would have liked to continue dismantling the cartel in tier mode just to shake things up a little bit for more fun, but extreme difficulty makes this almost impossible in my opinion. Certain missions are just ridiculous when the enemy can kill you with 1 or 2 bullets and there aren't any ways to avoid direct confrontation. A perfect example is when you need to expose El Cardinal during his speech, then bring him to Bowman. I tried completing this mission multiple times with no success because there is just no way to survive the intense wave of enemies that try to stop you while you attempt to grab the Cardinal. The closest I got to completing this mission on extreme difficulty was when I managed to get the Cardinal inside a chopper, but then I got shot down shortly after I got in the air. The chopper then crashed and I was unable to get the Cardinal out of the chopper for some weird reason. Then he died in the explosion and I failed the mission. Unfortunately, I ended up dropping my difficulty way down just so that I could finish that mission and get it out of the way, which really sucked because I really wanted to complete it without lowering my difficulty at all. But it is what it is, and this whole experience has led me to believe that Wildlands tier mode was designed as more of a challenge for a well-coordinated squad of real players if you're looking to gain tier points by working through all campaign missions. But when rolling solo, it is a huge grind unfortunately, because you kinda have to stick to a select few missions and farm them every day for a decent chunk of tier points because you need so many points just to reach the next tier. Now if you're watching videos on tier mode in Wildlands, there's a good chance that you've already watched some Dark Dally vids where he goes over some easy missions like Boston Reed and the convoy in Kawani, but in this video, I have even more missions to add to the farming list, as well as how to use an Unidad Gunship to rack up tier points really quick after you get sick of farming missions. So here's the list of missions I stuck to while going from tier 30 to tier 20. I usually begin in Espiritu Santo and complete the Advisor and Gold Rush North missions. Sometimes I'll extract La Santera too because it's so easy, but it does take a little bit longer than the first 2 missions I mentioned. After these missions in Espiritu Santo, I'll head over to Camanes and complete all 3 submarine missions using the Rebel rocket chopper. These 3 submarine missions don't give as many tier points as other missions, but all 3 are fairly close together, and with the rocket chopper you can complete all of them back to back in well under 10 minutes. After Camanes, I'll head to Kawani where I take out Boston Reed and then I'll do the drug convoy mission. All of these missions combined will give you around 16 to 17,000 tier points within the tier 30 to 20 range, which is a huge chunk, but it's still not enough, so this is where my Unidad Gunship trick comes into play. The reason I leave Kawani for last is because this Unidad combat outpost right here has a gunship that's extremely easy to steal. Usually these gunships are buried deep within large bases and it takes a lot of sneaking around before you can steal one, but this one right here is only being guarded by 3 or 4 Unidad soldiers and the base is really easy to get into. Once I steal this gunship, I search for any Unidad vehicles driving around and blow them up. The armored SUVs will reward you with around 500 to 600 tier points each, and the smaller Unidad SUVs will give you about 400 to 500. If you manage to find a few SUVs in close proximity, each one you destroy will give you even more tier points. One time when I was doing this, I found 5 Unidad SUVs all fairly close together, and when I destroyed the last one, it gave me almost 900 tier points, which was awesome. Now you might be asking why I don't just use the Rebel rocket chopper for this method, because it can be summoned anywhere, but believe me, I've tried that already. The problem with the Rebel Chopper is that it's kinda buggy when trying to farm tier points from destroying Unidad SUVs. Half the time it won't reward me with anything, and sometimes it'll only give me 100 to 200 tier points, which is a lot less than the 600 points I get while using the gunship. I'm not sure why the Rebel Chopper does this, but that's why I stick to using the gunship instead. The only thing you gotta watch out for is SAM turrets, and try not to kill too many civilians when you're destroying SUVs. You also get a lot more tier points when you remain undetected, but that usually isn't an issue while blowing up patrolling vehicles with the gunship. But yeah, that's basically all I did within this set of tiers. The wolfskin weapon camo rewarded at tier 20 is actually pretty cool looking, and I'm really hoping to find even faster ways of obtaining tier points in the next installment of this series, where I go from tier 20 to tier 10. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped those of you who are also getting to tier 1. I appreciate all of you who watched, and definitely feel free to share your tier 1 strategy in the comments if you'd like. But that's all for this video. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.